Hey guys, happy Monday. Today is Monday, October 28th. Last Monday of October. It's almost over. Can't believe November starts on Friday. Last quarter of the year. What is it also? The last quarter of the decade. Can't believe we are done with the 2010s or whatever we're calling them. But that is not what's important. I'm so excited and blessed and honored to have my friend Dorine Olive on the show today. Doesn't she look gorgeous and beautiful and precious? She's amazing. See, sometimes the staff will come in. They've got stuff they got to do. They have people they have to get to.
Wait, come on. Keep talking about how amazing.
Oh yeah, Doreen's amazing. Oh God, I didn't mean to scare them. Doreen's beautiful, amazing, and she has a story to tell that you definitely want to hear. You want to be a part of, and I'm just so blessed that you agreed to come on. So welcome.
I'm thankful to be here to just get me out of my house where I've pretty much been stuck since August 23rd.
August 23rd, and we're going to talk about those days and what happened. But let's get to, so the title of the show is Ovarian Cancer. It's a learn or educate. I don't remember the exact title. You know I love you guys, but we want to educate. Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month was in September. Teal, I've got some teal on. I'm wearing teal today just on purpose. Kim's got some teal on, obviously. Shirley Stamper. Kim Bassett's here. Shirley Stamper's here to the left. We'll bring them on at the very end of the show if they don't mind, and we will enjoy what they're wearing. But Dorine and I have known each other for a long time, and so I saw you go in for a procedure. We're going to talk about all of this and her journey, but give them a little bit of background on you first.
Okay, so I'm originally from Wisconsin, and I've been living in the Orlando area for about 27 years, and I had some things that, some symptoms that actually had popped up, and my doctor wanted me to go in and have my ovaries removed, so we scheduled that for August 23rd, and I still have a voicemail from him telling me everything was going to be fine, that I probably had nothing to worry about, and I had some blood work done that indicated that it was not ovarian cancer, and unfortunately I woke up from surgery the next morning much later than I was supposed to have woken up, because they had given me a lot more anesthesia to keep me under, and I was informed that I had stage 2 ovarian cancer, 2 different types of cancer, 1 in each ovary, and it had also spread to my pelvic wall. So it was a shocker,
because you go in, right? So you think that one outcome, and you're reassured, which is good, because going into surgery you want to sort of be reassured, right? We want to keep up positive, want to be as positive as we possibly can.
Yes.
And then you wake up and the diagnosis is different. So as he's sharing that with you, I imagine in the hospital, right?
Yes.
Because you had to stay for a while, didn't you? A little bit?
I was supposed to be released at 5:30, 6:30 Saturday morning, and I ended up staying until the next day, Sunday. I don't even remember. So much starts to become like a cloud, you know, you tend to forget.
Well, you have all of this going on.
Amnesia.
Well, because you didn't expect this, so you're prepping and preparing for a battle, for a journey that you weren't expecting.
Right.
So what was that like? They give you the news, and this is something, you had a problem going on. So, but you were at least informed enough to get to your doctor, go have it taken care of, whatever the means were, which is to have your ovaries removed at that time.
Right.
So you're further along, you make the decision, you think you're going to wake up, ovaries are gone, and we're going to go out and have cocktails hopefully the next day. But that's not what happened. So you're delivered the news, and so what's your first reaction? What's going on in the room when you hear this?
Ooh, just my head was spinning, and just really hard to wrap my head around it all, and wondering what's going to happen with my life. And It was very, very scary. It was the last thing. I truthfully went in thinking I was having a mass removed, because I have heard women having mass removed often.
Sure.
It's quite a common thing, and it quite often turns out to be okay. And so I just was in the positive frame of mind that everything was going to be fine.
So do you go to worst case scenario? I've not had that diagnosis. So
Yeah.
the questions I'm asking, I'm sure other people want to know. Do you go to worst case scenario? Do you immediately go, okay, my life's over, or do you have enough positivity in your life where you're like, all right, I'm going to have that 5-second moment, and then I'm going to go, all right, I'm going to beat the crap out of this. I'm not going to let this win over me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially when I found out what stage I was, I felt like, okay, I think I got this, and obviously discussed with the doctor what the success rate is, and what the reoccurrence rate is, and just all those things, how important it was. But I will say this, my initial gut reaction was that I was not going to do chemo, because I had in the past seen a lot of documentaries, a lot of programs, read up a lot about it, and I just absolutely said that was just not an option for me. And my doctor, thank goodness, he's also an incredibly good friend of 23 years. He told me he was giving me a lifeline by me doing chemo, and that, so of course I asked him, if I was your wife or your daughter, would you insist?
Fair question.
And he said, no question. So I didn't have any time to really think about it. So August 23rd was the surgery. September 10th was my first chemo. Whatever date before that, I had the ports inserted. So I really didn't have time to think. I didn't have time to heal from my surgery. It's been.
He was going to be aggressive with this,
very,
which is,
very aggressive.
and so what people don't understand is it's not just you get the diagnosis and then you skip along and then all of a sudden you're in chemo. Yeah. There are things that you have to have done, processes that you have to deal with. You also had that period of time before you even started. So as much as you read up on it, as much as you're told, you still haven't experienced it yourself yet. So
right.
You're going through this mental thing of not only getting yourself prepared for a fight, but now you have to physically have things done to your body that you weren't prepared for before. And that's really a short amount of time. The 23rd to the 10th. I mean, you're talking about less than 3 weeks.
Yes, it was crazy, because of course, one of the first things I asked him, because I had very long hair, was I going to lose my hair? And initially, that was for several weeks. That was a big shocker for me. But now that I've been through this journey and have endured the most horrific pain that you can possibly imagine, with every cell in your body hurting, it's made me reprioritize my hair. As much as I do miss it, I would much rather be pain-free and have my hair. Not that I get a choice, I actually get both. I don't get both. I get both the pain and I get no hair, but it's less important to me.
It's funny how you completely reprioritize. Yes. Because one of the things people always ask when you're talking about chemo or any kind of cancer treatment, one of the very first things is, am I going to lose my hair? And I don't know why that's such a badge of courage, a big, like you're passing through and that's what you have to go through, and it's such a challenge. But that is something that I feel like it would be something that you've lost control over. Like this is admitting I have no control.
Yes.
Over what's going on. And for most of us, you can decide your treatment protocol with your doctor, you can decide how you're going to react, how you're going to deal, but you can't control the hair falling out.
Right.
And so once you get to that level, which I think you did, you get almost to a funny, crazy, accepting relationship with it. Like, all right, is that all you got? Because I can handle this if that's what's going on. Talk about the pain part, because I don't think people understand. They think chemo, you sit, you put your arm out, you get chemo in. My daughter's an oncology nurse, so she can talk about this all day long. People come in, and if you don't know, you just think you're going to put your arm out, you get the chemo in, you go la la la, and then it's all over.
Well, so real quick, let me just touch real quick on the
Please.
hair. We also did have. I decided to make a hair cutting ceremony, so we went through a couple stages, and I had several very close friends come over to the house, and so I let everybody cut my hair, and so I ended up making a wig out of it, which I have yet to wear. But anyhow, so we did do that. But as far as the chemo goes, every chemo treatment is different. Every person reacts differently. The concoction that I'm on is called carboplatin and paclitaxel, and it is utterly brutal. So we all know people that have gone through cancer, and I've never had somebody really close to me that I've been able to walk alongside of them. So, except for one person I knew that went through breast cancer, and I remember, and this is just hers, I'm not speaking for other women, but I remember meeting with her and her explaining to me her chemo treatment, and she said that it was very easy for her, and that there was no side effects, and that, it was, and so that was my point of reference that I had, and so that's what I was thinking I was walking into whenever I was going through my treatment. Well, I have two ports. I have one up in my clavicle, and I have one down in an IP. And when I do the IP treatment, it's a full day, an 8-hour chemo treatment.
Jeez.
Which is, actually looking at it now, I know 8 hours sounds like a lot, but laying there, compared to the after effects of it, laying there is actually pretty doggone comfortable.
Right.
But the after effects that kick in on day 3 and 4, and unfortunately recently day 5 for me, if you can envision every single cell of your body that has been affected and has been in pain, I've experienced that. I haven't had too much of the nausea because I've been taking meds for that, so I'm thankful. But again, if I could just get rid of the pain.
What is the pain? So the pain comes from, it hurts in your joints, it hurts in your bones. You can't even describe, there's no way for you to get comfortable, is my understanding. So you're just in pain, and I think just having, knowing people with autoimmune diseases and things like that, where you're just in pain and you can't describe it, and there's no external for you. And then there's no relief from it, guys. So Dorine's going through it, and it's not like you can just pop 2 Tylenol and all of a sudden, oh, you're all fine. Let's all go out. Let's go to the Citrus Club. It's not like that, and I think people don't realize. And then you also have to function. You have to be a functioning adult. You have things that you need to accomplish, that you want to accomplish. And when you are in that much pain, if you've ever been in that much pain, trust me, the mental pain that comes after that, or accompanies it can be such a challenge. How's your mind supposed to think clearly? And I'd like you to talk about that when you're in that much pain, when you're literally going, I don't want to get out of bed, I don't want to move.
No, that's a very good point, and it's interesting because my doctor is trying to tell me, you need to get up, you need to move, you need to go out to a restaurant, and I say to him, you're not walking in my shoes and feeling what I'm feeling, because I'm the type of person, I've always been a very active person, always planning fun events for friends, and created the Central Florida Peeps Facebook page for putting together fun events. We just went down the river a couple months ago, Itchnatucknee, and so all of a sudden my life comes to a complete halt, and I do get excited. I went out on Sunday and I pulled a few weeds for 5 minutes in my garden, and I went in the house and I cried just because I was so happy to be able to do that. So it does feel good to be productive and to be able to do things, but it sucks how limited I am, and I'm the type of person, if a doctor says, it's going to take you 2 months to recover, I say, no, it's going to take me 1 month. I'm much quicker than, what you say I'm going to do. But, so I think you're bringing me good energy, because I'm actually feeling pretty good sitting here. Just
You look
hurts a little
amazing.
bit,
I
but-
want to tell you, your energy when you walked in the door, you look amazing, and your energy is positive. Like, I have been around enough people, I've done enough shows, and personally been around enough people, and you can sense when there's a give up mentality or a woe is me mentality, which you have every right to have and have moments of that or whatever it takes. But your energy and your look, you look beautiful. You just look beautiful. You look
Thank you.
like you are feeling ahead of the game. You're feeling like you're ahead of this, is what my perception is.
I'm trying. I'm telling you what, behind the scenes, there's no doubt it's rough. Kimmy and Shirley have both seen that side, but I just want people to really understand, different things of how you can help other people in the future too, with their experiences, no matter what health issue it may be. But people really, really appreciate any reaching out. I mean,
Let's talk about that, because we
Yeah.
talked about before we went live, right?
Yeah.
We talked about how people don't know how to reach out. They don't know what the right protocol is. They don't have any kind of idea of, what if I say something wrong to Dorine? What if I don't say it in the right way? Can I ask her how she's feeling? Is that bad? Is it okay for me to ask her about the surgery? Like, there's so many things, and so what that does is it paralyzes people. And so instead of reaching out on any level, they stop completely. They don't know what to say to you, so they don't say anything. And you were admitting earlier that maybe in the past, we've all done it, maybe we haven't reached out for that exact same reason. So talk about that.
So, and of course this is my own personal experience, there are people out there that are incredibly private and don't, want to, be a hermit. And I had somebody I was talking to yesterday, and they said that their friend basically stayed in their house. She's been going through ovarian cancer and stayed in her house for 6 months straight, and she said she literally never ever left.
Wow.
So, that's, again, everybody's journey is different. So I'm just speaking from myself. I'm a very sociable person. So, when the doctor says you need to go out, I'm going to go out when I can go out. And, I was very blessed. Shirley and her sister took me to the beach the 1 week that I had off from my chemo, and I was scared to death to do it, but I did it, and it was so refreshing and renewed my energy, and it was great. But there have been people that I've been surprised that, just a small handful that haven't reached out, and I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I guess just today's message, just a simple, even if you've had a fallout with somebody and you just simply want to reach out to them and say, I'm thinking about you, that just really means a lot to anybody going through anything. So, if you're unsure, compassion and kindness and caring about people, you just can't go wrong.
I agree. I think that instead of getting caught up in your own mind games that you're playing on yourself, like, oh my God, what if I say the wrong thing to Dorine? Is it going to upset her? Is it going to impact her treatment? I mean, I've heard excuses why people don't reach out when somebody's going through something a million times over, and it's just this mind game that you allow to go on. So how can it hurt? There's nothing you can say wrong if your heart's in the right place and you have compassion and kindness. So if you want to ask Doreen a question, and that's a personal thing between you, or you want to make a comment, that comment, she can always come back and say, you know what, I'm not comfortable sharing that, but thank you for asking.
Right.
But it's so much better for that than for you not to reach out to the person who's going through it and just sit there. Because what happens, you go, well, gosh, I expected XYZ person to say something to me. At least acknowledge. We were talking about the acknowledgement.
Right.
At least acknowledge, look, I'm going through cancer right now. I'm dealing with this crap. I'm dealing with some insanity that no human being should ever have to deal with. And yet you can't take 2 seconds out. Why? You don't want their mind focused on that. You want their mind focused on getting well, beating this insanity. And so if they mean something to you, or if you mean something to them, you should take a moment and reach out. I just want to encourage you guys. It's just so important. All right, so what's next? How far along are you? Give us a little kind of a synopsis of what's going on and where we're headed.
So I've had 7 chemo treatments, and I started out with 5 in a row, 5, and then I had a week off. And now I'm on a 2-week, every week on for 2 weeks, and then I have a week off. And I was very excited to find out last week that I got my last chemo treatment, hopefully as long as all my tests and everything come back perfect. December 31st, so instead of me popping champagne at midnight, I'll be having my last chemo treatment on the 31st. And what happens then at the infusion center is, at your last treatment, you get to go ring a bell, and it's a huge celebration deal. And I'm sure lots of tears, and then I'll spend the next several weeks or months, depending on what my doctor says, just trying to restore my body. I've been very active, and yoga has always been a part of my daily life, and unfortunately a lot of that's been put on hold, with one exception. I do go every Wednesday to a recovery yoga. It's very, very easy. It's just being in the room of the energy.
Right.
It's the highlight of my week. So
I love that. I love that they have that,
yeah.
Because you have to be very careful. You have to be like people. I don't think people understand that there's an impact on your life that touches every bit of what you did before and who you are, and then you have to try to figure out how to maneuver through that. If you used to go get weekly massages, when you have cancer, you have to be really careful of that. A lot of times they don't recommend them. Just little things like that you have to pay attention to.
Yes. And to your point, I'll just give you a couple of quick examples. The doctor doesn't want me to use a pumice stone on my feet. They don't want you to get cut. When the 3 days after I've had the chemo, I'm considered toxic, so I'm not supposed to, no body fluids. You're not supposed to hug or touch anybody. You're supposed to flush the toilet twice when you use it. Chuck and I are supposed to share the same bathroom. I mean, all these things that I just had no idea behind the scenes. I did go for a facial, and when I was going there, I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to ask my doctor if I can do this. So I quickly text the nurse, and she said, as long as there's no alcohol in the product. I would have never thought of that.
Who would think of that? That's the other thing. Not only are you going through it, and there's something called chemo brain. My daughter talks about it all the time. You're going through all this, you're trying to figure stuff out, and then you're having to think about things that you normally never, ever, ever, ever would think about, and you just want to go about your life. You want to bring as much normalcy back to your life and take control, because remember, you're feeling very helpless at this point, because at this point you're going to this chemo treatment. It's ravaging you. It's crazy, the amount of pain and wear and tear it puts on your body, and yet you're still supposed to be a human being that gets out and interacts. It's not easy, guys, and that's why the services that so many of these local so many of the cancer associations and charities provide is just so critical, because not everybody has a support system. Not everybody has somebody that can help them, or lives with somebody, has a Chuck, has a Shirley and a Kimmy. It can be very daunting to deal with it on your own. It's daunting enough when you have that group of people, because it's still your body and what you're going through.
And I'll tell you, even several things, just for anybody going through, like somebody having a baby or any other illness or whatever, just reaching out and bringing meals to people, that has been huge, because come evening time, quite often, unfortunately, I'm fatigued. And let me just hone on that word for one moment. When I would hear the word fatigue in my previous life, I guess I didn't really have an understanding of what that meant. Obviously, this has taken it to a whole nother relatable level. And it's just, to just say the word fatigue, everybody has in their mind what that means. But it's pretty debilitating, and
This isn't just you're tired from a
No.
long day or a
Yeah.
long week. It's also you're not just tired from kids or
No.
any kind of thing that you have going on. This is a physical, soulful, mental, pick it, emotional fatigue, and all combined makes you more exhausted than you have ever felt in your entire life, and there's no words to put to it. I've had many people describe it. That's why I can describe it.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
It's absolute. Debilitating was a great word, because you just don't, even if you felt like it, there's not a bone or a cell in your body, which Dorine mentioned earlier, that has the energy to do it, like to get up and do what you have to do. And then sometimes that becomes mind over matter, but then sometimes your body has to rest. You have to rest. And so just because she rests too doesn't mean she gets up all chipper and she's all ready to go and run a 5K.
Well, and actually on that note, I will say, so with chemo being on Tuesday, Wednesday is usually a good day. Wednesday's the day, because I had all the steroids the day before, so Wednesday is usually my most energetic day. So that's the day that I do go and do the yoga, even though that's the day I'm also more susceptible with my immune system. But I'll take the one day a week and hope that I get more, but see, I already forgot what I was going to say.
So I love, so before we bring Shirley and Kim on to say hello, they did the pretty flowers in the back, and look, they all decorated. There's fall leaves from Asheville that Shirley brought. I love that, because all of that is a spirit lifter, a heart lifter. These are things that are so important. Just those little things are so critical, because everything impacts your treatment and what you're going through. And if you're going to have the positivity, which, I mean, you can't not be positive around the two peanut gallery ladies over there, and the support system that you have. But I want to know, December 31st comes around, all clear. When you get the all clear, what are you going to do different with your life? What do you want to do differently? Are you even in that space? Do you think past that, or can you only focus on the treatment? And these are things that I would ask. I don't know the answer.
Yeah. So for me, I think it's a combination. Right now I like the fact of me helping people understand the journey of what people go through when they're going through this chemo treatment, but also to help people understand how they can help others is also one of the things that I've come up with as far as my purpose goes. And in the future too is educating women as far as what they can do and the false perception that's out there. I've had so many women ask me, what were my symptoms, and also so many women think that their annual pap smear is looking for, because it's down in that area,
right,
that's going to be detecting if you have ovarian cancer, and your pap has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with ovarian cancer. And that gave me a false sense of hope too, or a sense of security, because I had just gone in April, so I thought this can't be a problem, because I was just my GYN just saw me, so everything's gonna be fine. So I postponed it for a couple of months, but so the point is, there is no annual testing like there is for breast cancer, where we get our mammograms, or for where we look for cervical cancer for our pap. So ovarian, that's why it's not detected normally, and it's usually caught a lot later. So, you know, my purpose is going to be to continue to help educate women, and I have, as a result of my talks, this is one thing that I'm so very thankful for. I have had probably at least 24 people reach out to me and tell me that they, as a result of our talks on Saturday morning, that they have gone and followed up with a doctor as a result of our talks. One person actually did, in fact, find out that they had prostate cancer as a result. So people going out and going to their appointments, it just, that makes it all well worth it to continue to speak out about it and just communicate.
I mean, it's just such a joy to have you on the show. I'm going to try not to get emotional, but, you know, just sharing your story and your journey in the middle of it, in the throes of the thick of it, is just such a testament to your strength, and just you have so much beauty and strength, and I want you to, I know you're surrounded by it because you can't not feel that way when you got our crazy friends around us all the time, right? They make you feel really good and lift you up. But I want to tell you that you walked in and immediately you just looked like you own the room.
Oh.
And so I love that, and I think that is such a testament to your spirit and where you're at. Just because she's on the show, though, doesn't mean that she doesn't have moments, many moments where it's not like this. So we want to continue to lift up Dorine, and we want to continue to lift up all of our beautiful friends that are going through similar things, because it is not an easy journey at all. All right, so let's bring on we got to at least say hi to Shirley and Kimmy, right?
Yes.
I mean, come on. You got to say hi.
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 There they are. Kim Bissett, Shirley Stamper. I love Shirley's shirt. You got to show it.
Oh.
There it is.
Yay.
Yeah.
These were designed by Sarah Carlson.
Oh, yeah, they're
Right.
beautiful. They're beautiful, absolutely
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I just saw Dallas pop on. She's a breast cancer survivor. So you're amazing. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you. Thank you for coming on and sharing that. I think it's so important. I know you're going to get a lot of love. You should. And these two ladies also deserve a lot of love.
I love this one too.
Yep, we love them all. Listen, pray for people. Whatever your thing is, I'm a prayer guy. Prayer, positive thoughts, send angels like Kimmy always sends. Do whatever you have to do, but be supportive. And if you're even hesitant for 1 second about reaching out to somebody going through this, don't.
Just
Please
do
don't.
it.
And,
Do it.
and actually, let me just add real quick to that. If there's something that you had in the past with somebody, that has nothing to do with what they're going through, and you still can reach out and be supportive, because love always wins.
Love wins, babies. All right, you're a doll. I love all three of you.
Love you all.
Blessed, blessed. See you soon.
Thank you. Angels.